again on Zero to Hero, streaming live from Africa's largest radio network, Radio Nigeria. On Zero to Hero, we strive to educate, enlighten, and inspire you towards achieving your desired goals in life and fulfilling destiny in the midst of challenges, setback, and limitations, drawing from original and inspiring stories of our esteemed guests. My name is Felicia Ono. Challenges may be depressing situations. Challenges may be depressing situations, yet there are catalysts that triggers growth if they are approached with a positive disposition. On today's edition, our hero is Mr. David Ogidinta. He is a certified life coach and business coach, author, public health advocate, and consultant. He is also the creator of Clarify to Clinch coaching program. Welcome on the program, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Felicia.
We are glad to have you here.
My pleasure.
On Zero to Hero, we are delighted to get inspired by the interesting story of your life journey. So, we are going to kickstart this conversation with you sharing a bit about your background and how you grew up.
Well, thank you. I didn't know that my story would be so interesting to share with everybody, but I thank God it's been quite a journey.
Okay.
My name is David Ogedinta. I was born and brought up in Ihioji village in Obingwa local government of Abia State.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the fifth child of 9 children.
Wow.
Okay, my dad is a known farmer, a well-known farmer, and an artist. So after secondary school, I was an apprentice to him in his art business for a while before we move forward to go find our own passion.
Okay.
All right, of course, it was an average background, but there is always something bigger you want for your life. So I left home in 2004. I left home 2004, to Babcock University in Ogun State. I've traveled and, you know, dealt with life at different stages.
Okay,
And so far, so good.
before we get to that point, you said you come from the average background, right? And your father was a farmer and an artist.
Yes.
Okay, so how was your primary education, secondary school? How was it like? Were you in a free education school or was it a private school? How was life like during that time?
Yeah. In my time, it was. I started my nursery school was not free education.
Okay,
Okay, but my parents valued education.
okay,
So whatever it took, we will. They did what was necessary to send me through school.
okay,
At the primary was can't really remember exactly if it was free or not, but secondary was not.
okay. So how
Yeah.
were he was a farmer? How was he able to do the finance, like funding your education?
Well, he
Was it doing mechanized farming? You know, from there he could get finance to fund your education.
well, not mechanized. It was subsistence farming.
Okay,
But he had a good understanding about cropping,
okay,
different types of crop.
mm,
We had a big orange plantation,
okay,
and we harvested it in bags and sold. My mom, plant vegetables and all that. So, coupled with his artworks, he was a painter, or the general. But my dad was well known those days in Umoba before he went back to our village to continue. So, uh, the key point was that he, knew what he wanted for, okay, to give us the right background
okay,
in education, no matter what the cost. He tried,
okay,
at least senior secondary.
okay. Can you share some of the challenging situations as a kid then?
Yeah, as a kid, of course, as we rose from an average background,
Okay.
things were not enough. Things were not enough. There are certain things other children had that you would want to have.
Mm.
Okay. Um, but I, from childhood, I have been known to dream very big.
Okay.
So too early, the house was not containing me anymore. Okay, I would want a sort of big education, and it was not forthcoming. I remember one time in our secondary school, boys fought and beat teachers, and all the children that caused the trouble, their well-to-do parents changed their school. So
Mm.
when I took the case back home, my dad told me, your mates are still in that school. You people, they send you to school, you will not bend down and listen. So I was stuck there, in that school, and the teacher stopped teaching us. So my first attempt at WAEC was not all that good. So I
Mm.
had to resit because my dad insisted that you finish the school in that place. Um, Security, food, yeah, but at least I will not complain so much.
Okay.
We will not
So
complain so much.
let's move over when you got into your what did you study when you got into the higher institution, your undergraduate study? You said you moved
Yes,
to
yes. That
you
was when the story began to change, right?
okay,
I began to feel uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, sitting on my father's stencil,
okay,
living an average life. I love to write. Okay, I had written my vision. I
okay,
had wanted to be a medical missionary,
mm,
you know, and the life I was seeing at home would never cut it. So I decided to begin to share my dream with others. And this is one tip I believe would also help, those who are listening to us out
mm,
there. Sometimes you can't have a dream and keep them buried in your stomach. Begin to share them. So I shared, my dreams and ambition with an old woman, a
okay,
distant relative of mine, and her son is was the second or third uncle right now. So he said that when your uncle comes, the old woman, say when your uncle comes, you need to tell him this your dream, so that then my uncle was a DVC academics in a private university in
okay,
Ogun State.
okay,
Okay, so it happened that his father died, and that was an opportunity for him to come. So after paying my condolence, I had to write a very big letter. Say, Uncle, God has been so kind to you. I know you have done so well for yourself. I want to pursue my vision, my dreams. Okay, if you could help me, So, and after the burials, he visited my dad, acknowledged my letter, and decided to take me along with him. So when he went back, he sent the address that I should come see him. So not exactly to get into school, but we discussed how possible it was for somebody of my kind. Not that he was going to take my fees or
mm,
all that, but that exposure, that platform, that was the very first, support I got. So when I left, I went to that place. He got me job in the maintenance department. I
okay.
wanted a job in the in the clinic, in the school clinic, because I wanted the medical part.
But then you had not started school.
No, I've not started school.
Okay,
I've not started school yet. Of course, my WAEC certificate was not complete for the pre-medical programs I wanted to enroll
okay,
in. I needed to, receipt chemistry also. Okay, so he gave me uh, he took me to the maintenance department instead of the clinic. He
okay,
asked me to write applications to various places. I wrote. He decided to choose the maintenance instead of the part that I wanted to go
okay,
in. So, and that wasn't just the application. He single-handedly took me to see the head of the maintenance unit.
okay,
But when I finished the interview, I was not comfortable anymore. A young, ambitious chap, also bright, the pride of doing the dirty job in such an environment where you see younger students pass you every day, that didn't look like what I wanted. So I decided to opt for another opportunity. Then students used to, during summer, go to different states, different countries to sell books. I decided to do that instead. So join students when they go for summer programs to sell books. That was the first time I came to the north.
Okay.
In 2004, I visited Kaduna, spent 3 months, finished the summer program. We call it canvassing.
Okay.
We distributed books, health books, religious books to raise funds. Now, I took that option because I want to start saving for my school. That I'm out in the school environment doesn't mean that they will cater for my education, because of course it was a private university, was huge and all that. So that was the journey. When after the program, I decided not to go back to Babcock.
Okay.
I needed to go back and then
So
rewrite.
you left the job.
Yeah, I didn't do the job.
Okay.
I didn't want the job. Anything that will keep me in that environment, I'll be frustrated. That was exactly what was happening to me at home. Okay. I didn't love the environment. After young people travel, come back, do things, and then you keep him in a place where I will also suffer the same fate. No, I want to go see what the students are doing, how they're able to. So that was my first job, not at the maintenance department. I had to go sell books. I was distributing international books. Go to offices, go to markets, visit people, and then tell them what they'll get from the book. So that was how I started raising some funds. So when the program was a 3 months program during the long vac, so after the program, I needed to go home, to go rewrite receipt for my work, and which I did. So and then when I finished, I also didn't want to stay back home. I went back to Kaduna again to continue the the job. So after a year, they began to sell student forms again for Babcock. I enrolled.
Then you had enough money.
Yeah, of course, to get me a road to write the exams and all that. Of course, there's nothing like enough money to enroll in Babcock, but I had the confidence that I want Babcock, I'll get Babcock no matter what it took.
Okay, so what was that drive that made you feel you needed more? That you were just you about you left home when you went to Bangkok, you got a job, but you said no, that's not what you want, and you kept
Mm.
going, started selling those books and saving money. What was that drive that made you feel this is not what where I'm supposed to be or who I'm supposed to be? I just have to keep going. What was
Y-
that drive and the passion?
Yeah, with the benefit of hindsight, right now, one of the things I do for business owners and personal and professional brands
Okay.
is to teach them how to find clarity, alignment, and execution. I didn't know that, but there was this fire. There was, when you are not comfortable, you will know. One of the exercises I give, especially professional or career professionals,
Okay.
is if you want to know that that office is no longer a fit for you, stand up, stretch your hand. If your hand is touching anybody, you know that that space is too small.
Mm.
Okay. So I look at myself, I had visions, I had dreams. Of course, those dreams come from God. God was preparing me. All right. I wouldn't say I had figured out my life,
Mm.
you know. So, but God was speaking something to me. I wasn't comfortable with my background. I wanted to give my family a better life. I wanted to also become something in the society. I also wanted, personal pride, achievement. Okay. So it was not going to be cut out in the stencil. It was not going to be cut out in the maintenance shop. I'm not saying that there are certain things you have to do alone before you can achieve your dream. But for me, it didn't look like it. There are a lot of persons who do jobs that frustrate them every day,
Mm.
and they tell you that they don't have choice. That's wrong. You have a choice. All right. In fact, it was my countenance that forced my uncle to allow me to go to Kaduna. from Babcock. I came out that place displeased, and his wife, God bless her, you know, said, Dave, what's the matter? You don't want what you have? I told him, I want to experience what the students are experiencing. That was my escape. I said, okay, fine. If that's what you want, good. I also want to remind you that, during our coaching sessions, we tell people as coaches, we are just like sound boxes for you. You know what you want, you know the particular outcome, you know the change that you are looking for. So that was very obvious to me that these places didn't look like the pathway I wanted to follow. you know. And when I look back right now, they were not bad choices because the other ones would have taken me a longer route to get to where I am. But God, of course, was the one piloting.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, this is Zero to Hero on the network service of Radio Nigeria, and our hero on the program remains Mr. David Ogidinta.
Mm.
He is a certified life coach and business coach, an author, public health advocate, and consultant. He's also the creator of Clarify to Clinch coaching program. So let's get your story of during your undergraduate days. You said it was never enough. You didn't, of course, the money you may have saved was not going to like carry you for the 4 years of your undergraduate study. So how was it like that time going to school and you were funding your education?
I'll tell you that it was chaotic. It
Hmm.
was a crazy experience,
Wow.
you know. And to the glory of God, that story inspires thousands of people today.
Hmm.
I didn't even have my acceptance fee in 2006 entrance into Babcock was 100,000. I went from Abuja to Babcock only with 8,000 naira.
So how were you able to navigate those financial
I would,
needs?
I would share with you. You know, when God is in a thing, He makes a way. He makes a way where there seems to be no way.
No way.
You know, on arriving Babcock, confused, I had already told my sister, who lives in Abuja. She was a sales attendant
Okay.
in a shop, and I pleaded with her, "Nne, help me, oh, you don't hook, you know, but I need to be here." And she raised me, it was 70,000 or 75,000,
Okay.
you know, that time, and plus 8,000. That's about how much was it now? So, and you needed to pay acceptance fee before you can enroll as a student.
Yes.
In my case, I don't know if I was the first person or not. I enrolled with payment plan.
Okay.
My uncle gave me 2,000 or 4,000 to complete everything I had
Mm.
to 80,000. And I had to sign on the undertaking. I had to sign on undertaking that I was going to pay the balance 2,000 with my remaining school fees.
Okay.
That was how I got in. And the journey was crazy. I managed to finish the first year. After the first year, I decided to opt for the same book distribution program.
Okay.
Then I went to Ghana, okay, in 2007. I spent 3 months plus in Ghana distributing, going to offices, meeting new people.
That was during your holiday.
Yes,
Okay.
after first year,
Mm.
so that was a long vac, that summer holiday.
Mm.
I wanted to see if I can raise money. But to shock you, I came back without my school fees.
Wow.
I came back without my school fees. And that it seemed that hope to continue school was dashed,
Mm.
you know, and I tried everything. Nobody could help me. No uncle, no, and of course, when I told my dad I wanted to go to school, he warned me that I will cause him early high blood pressure. because there is nobody of our standard that attempts schools like, private. Babcock was the premium private institution in Nigeria. So the fees, the standard, and all things were high. But that was what I wanted, nothing more, nothing less. Okay. So after the my journey through the canvassing program in Ghana and back, no money. I tried everything as if I was losing my admission. So I decided to write for leave of absence.
Okay.
Yes, to leave school for 1 year, to go back and continue to hustle, you know. And I got my department to approve my leave of absence that I'm going to come back, the next session. And I left, came back to Abuja, continue the business, the young man on the street. That was when I started, teaching, helping people, plan their stuff. I was also selling the books. It, After the first semester, God instructed me to go back to school. I didn't have the money still. But of course, where God said go, David will go. I packed up my bag, get my transport, and went back to school. I was querying God, how do you want this to happen? How do you want me to go back to a place that I almost embarrassed out without what could accept me in? He said, I told you to leave and I'm also telling you to come back. Go back to school. And I went to school. The next hurdle was how well, how I was to convince the department to accept me at second semester. Okay. Without doing first semester. And I went to the HOD. I explained my predicament. I made a promise that I was going to do summer. See, David, no sponsor, promising to do summer that I was going to use to go and hustle in school. No, but God inspired me to say that. And I said it. I made a written commitment to that statement because I was an above average student. I wasn't, okay. Yes, I was coping academically, you know, and because of my good behavior, my HOD approved. That was hard. In fact, he told me that his office was to be threatened if I am not able to meet up like this. How can I do? I said I will cope. God has said, come back to school. I'm going back to school. So and I started. Can I shock you?
Yes.
God took me through Babcock University, and I didn't spend a single day beyond my mates, the people I enrolled with. I did matriculation with that I entered in September 2006. We graduated the same day in June 2010.
So you mean there was someone that began funding your education?
God funded it. I did everything to see. In fact, coming back then, luckily, Oceanic Bank signed a strategic partnership, okay, with Babcock, to provide funds for struggling students, and then they pay, instrumentally. Okay. I got that. So that was one method I used. I did every dirty menial job at school. I was cutting grass, I was sweeping classrooms, I was cleaning toilets, everything that would give me extra 2 naira, I was doing that. I wrote for scholarships everywhere. I didn't get anyone. It was pure hustle on the street. Sometimes I'll be, and to make matters worse, as a young man, as a fine gentleman, our supervisors will put me along the female hostels, to scatter my steez. I'll be there cutting grass. The menial job I didn't want to do going in, I was now doing it by choice. This is not, maintaining equipment. This was cutting grass, sweeping classrooms, washing toilets. Okay, I did all that, sweeping street. But God so kind, I also graduated with 2-1.
Wow.
And
You
I've
know, It's really surprising. One will say somebody with such challenges will not really focus
Mm,
on studying
mm.
because they are having a whole load of problems on them,
Yeah.
and those menial jobs you said you were doing. How were you able to navigate through this and still reading?
What was inside of me was far bigger than what I was seeing outside.
Mm,
That determination, that burning desire. Sometimes when we coach, we want to connect you to the reason why you started. If you're on the verge of giving up,
mm,
we want you to reflect on why you started. Why did you say yes to that relationship? Why did you say yes to that career? Why did you say yes to that job, that business? Why did you start in the first place? If you're able to connect to why you started in the first place, there is no unsurmountable challenge
yeah.
on your way. So sometimes I was in sciences, I was pre-medical science, I studied microbiology, all right, all the pathways, all the biochemistry, every of the challenges. I will leave the field where I'm cutting, sweating, and then coming to class.
Mm,
But God was just so kind. It's not that I had all the best strategies. God was with me. He said, "Go." From the word instance, from the instance, from my village to when I left school, God keep telling me, "I have something for you. Keep going." So I just give glory to God for seeing me through. It wasn't easy.
wow, such an insightful journey.
Mm.
We are still on the program Zero to Hero on the network service of Radio Nigeria. At this point, we will take a short musical break, and it has to come from a song that you love. So you tell us which song you love so we can play on the program for you.
What genre of song right now?
Whichever one, it could be gospel, whichever.
Okay, if you can do gospel and anything inspiring of
Don't you
hope.
have a particular one you would love to listen to?
Okay, there is one I used to love by Dare. Uh, okay, no, who was one I sung I Pack My Bag? Timmy Dakolo.
Okay.
Mm.
Simi Dakolo, what's the
Yes,
title?
I'm leaving town. I don't know if you can get it.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that the title? I'm leaving town.
Yeah, maybe when you search, you can
Okay.
get it. I packed my bag. I'm leaving town. I bought one way ticket. I
Okay.
am coming back. Mm.
Okay, we are giving you this song by Tibi Dakolo. Welcome back. We are still on the program Zero to Hero on the network service. And our hero has been Mr. David Ogidinta. He is a certified life and business coach, author, public health advocate, and consultant. He's also the creator of Clarify to Clinch coaching program. Sir, your story has been very, very inspiring and interesting.
Thank you.
And let's get to know when your big break came.
Oh, well, I would say that my life has been a journey.
Okay.
Okay. There are amazing wins,
Mm.
and but I've not had my best day yet. So
Okay,
the
you're still.
biggest the biggest dream is still in front,
Oh,
But I'll take you through some beautiful part of my journey. After school, I after my days in Babcock,
mm.
I came back to Abuja. I was started working. Started in consulting. Right,
Okay.
there was a consultant, advent consultant that took me in. I served as an assistant training officer.
Okay.
You know, but another opportunity came. One of our clients then was NSITF, and then we went for a bid, and we got an opportunity that they were recruiting. So, and I put in my application, and then I also got in. So life continued as normal. I moved to Benin. That was a station where I I was working. I never believed in, pardon me, rigid system kind of thing. I love to be a free bird. Okay. So civil service wasn't much it for me, but I was a utility staff.
Okay.
Anywhere I am, I would make my contribution. So I served in four different departments before I exited civil service in 2022.
Okay.
Okay, so but in there, while I was working, I wanted to further my education. I enrolled to do my master's in Benin in public health. Okay, a bit of advocacy work. I, I worked in the cancer space. I worked in sickle cell. I continue to also work in sickle cell space, in um, reproductive health and all that. So to complement salaries and all that, I do some of those consultancy jobs and then also started some businesses on the side. But a bigger break came in 20, 2020. Yeah, thereabout. I got access to distribute a financial product,
Okay.
okay, of a multinational company, and in a space of 2 years, we raised quite some volume, and our finances got stable, you know, significantly, to the glory of God, right? And impacting lives. So along that program, I also carry on my leadership development because the way I build teams is I empower people
Okay.
to replicate what we were supposed to do. So I didn't want to say one thing specific so that the attention was not going to be
Yeah.
on it. But we did some good numbers. We did some good numbers in dollars even, you know. So life became so good, and the Lord prospered our work. Uh, when Okay, I don't know. Maybe you have other questions. So they said I will not summarize everything at once. But ever since, we've had one or two opportunities. But of course, there was a big setback, you know, in 2022. All the big castles we built was lost. You know, I I lost a big fortune. You know, in over. Am I supposed to call
Yes,
amount?
you can.
Okay,
It's a
so
life experience.
yeah, I lost quite a fortune, about $80,000.
Wow.
Yes, and it put my life on reverse
Hmm.
once again. And I could fly out. You know, within 2 weeks, I've toured more than 5 cities. Building teams and inspiring people, and helping people achieve their goals and their dreams, both local and international.
So how were you able to surmount that challenge?
Well, we go back to the biggest backbone, which is God,
Okay.
all right? But it wasn't easy. That was the biggest setback. Imagine if that kind of money was yanked away from you. It took everything. It took my comfort, it took my time, it took my cars,
Hmm.
it took everything. Okay? Because when you have gotten to a particular pinnacle and it was just too sudden. So that set me on reverse. So, but I decided to go back to the source, which is God, who had given it, you know, and He gradually walked my way back. So, acquired additional skills. One of my companies, the Corrigion Limited,
Okay.
right? We're into branding and digital marketing, right? That period to just relapse, I made investment, acquired additional skills, to be able to help other organizations to start. So the clear pathway God gave me to come back is not to think about myself. I was doing it wrongly. I tried everything and it was failing. But God was saying, pathway I want to give you right now is go and help people who are struggling.
mm,
By the time I stopped thinking about myself, my own income and all that, he strategically positioned me to struggling businesses, just like uh, hope. God comes
okay,
in, you know, turn the businesses around, and they are on autopilot. We move to the next one. Okay, so that was what gave birth to my business coaching
okay,
program. You
okay,
know, I've done a couple other businesses before now. There are a lot of experiences that we have gathered.
mm,
So, but I went back to understand what people businesses struggle. Of course, with my personal experience and then some uh, business experiences, you're able to pick some lessons that you would not want anybody else to repeat.
mm,
Okay, and then plus education, right? Did a lot of training when I did my global certification for life and business coaching.
okay,
It helped me to be able to use my experience,
mm,
use my skills, to help people. So we help people to with our programs. We have different frameworks. So depending on what the challenge is,
yes,
we sit with you. So one of our key program is the Clarify to Clinch. Is
okay,
a life and business program where we take you through in fact, it's actually the full program is at 90 days.
okay,
Although there are also smaller programs will take you through a journey of clarifying your core values
okay,
back to where you started.
mm,
Right? What are the things that are important to you? We find that the major crisis that people face in business, in relationship, in life, and in career is you have forgotten why you were there or you don't know at all.
okay,
So clarity reveals that to you. Ask all the who, why, when, what question, to put you on the path. So the entire program is clarity, alignment, and execution. So alignment goes through what do you have, what strategies do you want, okay? What's your passion? What's your purpose? What are these values? So you align them with where you started, what the market needs, and then together we create the best execution strategy. All right. So in that program. So good days, bad days, but life
still
continues.
continues. Like you
Mm,
said, good days, bad days, life continues. What
yes.
will you say to people who are going through similar challenges like yours, like
Mm,
going through those hard times and then getting to that pinnacle and then having those the challenge that you said you lost a lot,
mm.
but you keep still going? What will you say to people who are facing that and they are like, no, 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 it's just okay, I can't go anymore?
If you can't go anymore, the journey that you have had is worth nothing.
Mm,
You've not arrived. So you keep going until you get to your destination. It is sad to think that somebody tells you can't go anymore. It's painful, it's hard, it's difficult. When you have that experience, it's not easy. But they say when you have your back against the wall, the only thing you can do is to move forward.
mm,
Okay. So let me give you some strategies that can help you when you feel you've plateaued. You've got to the point where you cannot, you feel you cannot continue.
yeah,
You need to ask yourself, where are you going? Is that important to you? If where you're going is important to you, keep going. Where are you coming from? Is that better? Would you want to go back? You know. So what we do in our session is to help you ask questions, ask the right questions. If you're able to ask the right questions, you find answers, answers, and then you begin to align those questions and answers to where you are focused. But the biggest comeback strategy I can give to anybody is connection to the original source.
Mm.
That's God, you know. Sorry. No matter who you are, whether you think you believe in God or you don't believe in God, whether you are Christian or Muslim, you can't exist without God. You think you are living a life is a part somebody else has lead. That is God. So you're just an instrument. So it's not just about you. When something is happening, we begin to put so much emphasis on self,
Mm.
on who we are, or what people will think about us, or how painful this situation is. You forget the fact that you are just a steward. Somebody has sent you on an errand. Why don't you ask him, will you leave me here alone? You know, uh, are you a Christian? There's a Bible story, Daniel in the lion's den.
Yeah.
Okay, you remember, it seemed as that was the end of his life. He was thrown into the lion's den. He prayed the same thing that got him to the mess in the first place. Okay, so but in the morning, King Darius came and asked him a question that I want to ask you right now, listening to me. He asked him, Daniel, son of the living God, servant of the Most High God, has your God, whom you worship, saved you from the hungry lions? Say, yes, so God has saved me. He sent his angels to cover. You know, not every situation sent your way was sent to kill you. It was sent to prepare you, was sent to give you a clearer view. All right. One of the programs that we do for CEOs is clearer view. We do it every quarter, right? Where we gather and help them ask key questions in the areas of their business. So you need to have a clearer view of where you're going. If you know that your life, your relationship, your business can get better in few steps from where you are right now, will you take those steps? Yes. So that's one of the things that kept me going. The vision, the vision is too big, too clear, to abandon. I'm 41. I have 3 children. I'm married. One of the things that when it gets so painful, I look at the people that are brought into the world, the people I've partnered. And then the reason why I started in the first place, remember my background, my family, my parents are still alive. My dad is 82, maybe 86. Now I can't remember exactly. All right. So my mom is also alive. So are there people who want you to succeed, who don't want you to stay down? When you remember them, of course, first is God. Remember your other important people in your life, right? And before that, you also need to remember what is the mission that you are on? What is that thing? Is it important? If it's not important, you not kill yourself, leave that and go and do another thing. But if it's important to you, important to the person who have sent you, important to what you want to achieve, keep going. Keep going until you get to your destination. You can't stop. All right. But there are delays. I'm telling you, for after that event, the next 3 years wasn't easy. I told you how terrible that loss was. I lost my house. I lost from that height to a very deep low. You know, sometimes my children had to stop school
Wow.
for a section because their the little children, their school fees is like the amount you want to use to marry another wife. You know, it was the craziest thing for a father that value so much education. You see the little ones and you'll be like, but at that point you want to query God and said, this is not the part you want to give up. All right, you want to either go to vices or try something, because every setback gives you very important lessons, and that's another point. All right, it's not that experience is not there to just punish you.
Mm.
There are key lessons. So there were a lot of opportunities that came, but those opportunities didn't look like what I wanted for my life. So they were no. So if you like, bring all the shining object in my face, as long as it doesn't, support where I'm going, there's no point wasting our time. So you keep it. I
Mm.
wait.
Okay.
Has God given miracles? Great, great miracles. Great turnaround. And we keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd like to know how you have impacted the society, with all you have learned. How have you given back to the society?
Okay. There are several things from my profile that I do.
Okay.
One is public health. Okay. I lead advocacy programs,
Okay.
you know, to raise support for sickle cell warriors
Mm.
in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a director. I'm a director in Obiobone Sickle Cell Foundation.
Mm. Okay.
All right. Um, we want to change the narrative to how advocacy program is run. Sometimes some of those organizations gather and collect money and run away. The founder is my friend and my brother and a business partner as well.
Okay.
He's a 52-year-old sickle cell warrior.
Mm.
You know, when he shared his story and shared his vision, I didn't want that to go to waste. So we provide health insurance
Okay.
packages for sickle cell warriors. Okay, free of charge. Take
Mm.
your card to the hospital and able to access care. Okay, we educate warriors and their caregivers. Okay, and then we do a massive online campaign advocacy. Sometimes we provide funds to support them.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't continue my medical line, but the bridge I built was, public health. I led very strong advocacy in 2019 to raise fund as well for cancer patients,
Okay.
patients who cannot um, provide the medical bill for themselves. Okay, so that's on public health. Yeah, on business, the only thing I do is to help people,
Okay.
businesses get on their feet and achieve their biggest goals.
Mm.
We take on people who are very ambitious because if your girl is small, you don't need somebody who who can help you. If your hand can reach it, just go ahead and take it. All right. But you are a if you're an ambitious business owner and you need to clarify your business process, okay, to achieve your desired goals, maybe you need to talk to us. All right. So we take on small businesses, medium scale business, and big businesses. Big businesses, we provide from one of my company. We provide um, digital marketing support,
Okay.
branding, and digital marketing support for them.
For
Uh,
free.
no, it's not for free. Oh. Eh? It's not for free. Oh. All right, but the thing is, what we do for them is for free initially. All right.
Okay.
Of course, we know all the branding and it's money that will create them.
Mm.
And all that. But we talk to you for initially to get you understand the part you need to go, and then the company can do business to support in scaling your business if you want. All
Okay.
right, yeah. So there are also personal and professional brand. We give webinars, master classes that are free,
Okay.
that get you on the table and help you ask the right questions,
Okay.
to be able to get you started on
Okay.
the path. All right.
Okay. So we
So,
don't have much time again.
okay,
So what's your final word of encouragement to someone listening to you?
keep going. Seek clarity. Okay, as our program says, you need to clarify to clinch.
mm,
You need to clarify what's happening in your current situation. Sometimes the challenge might not be finance. All right. My challenge in my early days wasn't just finance. I didn't have the money to go to school. I didn't have money to do all that. But if money was the only problem, then the other challenges wouldn't have come.
mm,
All right. So you need to ask the right questions. In advanced coaching programs, we give you that's what we call five why questions. Why is this happening? You know, what is it telling me? Is there any pattern and all that? Ask all the right questions. So clarifying your situation will help it become better. But overall, don't give up until you get to your destination. Keep going.
mm. Don't give up until you get to your destination. We have been speaking with Mr. David Ogidinta. He is a certified life and business coach, author, public health advocate, and consultant. He's also the creator of Clarify to Clinch coaching program. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
We
Pleasure.
appreciate you and wish you all the best. More successes. As you said, there is never an end to success. In
Mm.
fact, you didn't even agree there was a breaking the point you got your big break. You said it was in stages.
Yes, of course. Of course,
So
is
we
stage.
wish you more high stages, more big breaks to
Amen.
come.
Amen. Amen. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having me.
Yeah. This is a wrap for this week's edition. Please join us next week for another inspiring edition, same time next week, Tuesday, on Africa's largest radio network, Radio Nigeria. Our gratitude to the supervisor, Nkiru Ebele, and our studio manager has been Uche Enebeli. My name is Felicia Ono. Enjoy the rest of today. Bye.